Hi guys and welcome. You're joining me today to see how I make a bikini. Now the bikini I'm making is for my eldest daughter and I've actually made a 3 with this one. The bottom is this bikini that I got her and I only bought this for it last week before. So this is the bottom that I'm taking the pattern off. So that's the back and that's the front, and it is fully lined, this one, but I'm doing it in black fabric. So because it's a good thick black swim fabric, and I got this fabric from Walton's at Goldthorpe. The bottoms are only port lined, the back isn't lined, you can see there. It's just the front of the bikini bottom that I've lined. So it's just the front and then the back is just plain black. So that's the bottom. Let's get the straps. So that's the bottom finished, and then the top. This is a favourite bikini top that she's got, and I think she got this from, I think it was ASOS. Now it's beautiful. This it's like a blue animal print, and there was pads in it, but she doesn't like pads. She always takes the pads out, Paige. So this is the pattern that I used to make the top, and the top is this one. So that's all finished, and I have lined the top so that the top is fully lined, and I actually show you at the end how it would look if there was some they're not embellishments, I keep saying that, but it was a belt that I had which is like it's like a silver circle with a bar going through it, and I actually thread them through on the top, one in the centre and then one on each side of the briefs on the front, so you could see what it would look like if it wasn't plain, but Paige wanted it plain black with nothing fancy on it. So if you'd like to see how I make these, guys, keep watching. So I've got some cotton curtain lining on the table. I'm using this to put the pattern onto. So I've got the bikini bottoms already laid inside out. Got my French ruler that I'm putting on it so I can draw comfortably around it. And then where there's a join here, where you've got your two pieces joined, I'm going to come just the width there and then join that together. Right, I'm going to get the front piece done. And then just come past that join again slightly, because what I'm going to do as well here, I'm going to just fold that in half to make sure that it's all actually, you can just see here where it's a little bit wider. I'm going to fold that in half there. And I'm going to just cut this so it's even. So you've got the same on both sides. Do this again, fold it in half. And then get this trimmed off again. Good. Right, so again I'm going to put this so that it is wrong side facing up so you can see the seam allowance. Now this has got to be a bit more of a seam allowance because obviously you've got to thread your strapping through it. No, that's not that big, but that's what I'm doing it to. You just bring that a little bit further down so it's not as deep as that. Yeah. Let me get that under there so I can just bring this up. Let you see that what's a little. Right, so that's the top for the bikini top. So I've just got 1/2 metre of black swimwear, so I'm going to cut it out like this. So I've got the back, front, and then I'll cut 2 bust, and then this area I'm going to leave for the strapping. But I'm just going to cut them out off camera. So I've gone ahead and cut the lining out as well. Now I'm not lining the back because it's a thick black fabric, but I am lining the front. So at this point I've put the back of the bikini, the front of the bikini, right sides facing each other. And then the lining for the front, because I'm only lining the front. Right, so that is wrong side, but right side of the lining. Wrong side of the bikini back, because it's going on the back. Because what's going to happen is, this is going to be what's called a clean line on the inside. So when this is stitched in place, this is brought forward to the front piece, but then you've got this clean line on the inside. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is literally stitching along there. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the straps. So I'm going to do them at 1.5 inch wide as I go across. 3. And I'm going to be cutting 3 at a time here. I'm going to carry on until I get to the end. So I've actually cut 3 strips out at this point. I'm not sure if I'm going to need 3 or 4, but I'm only going to cut 3 out at this point because I can always add to it if I need to. So that's the straps. So this is where the bottom of the crutch has been, where the lining's been stitched onto it. And I have actually run over that twice. So I'm just going to lay this open. I've cut the excess fabric off as well, so there's not a lot of fabric in there. So I'm going to lay this on top, and then I'm going to fetch that over to the front of the bikini bottom. Lay that flat, and then I'm going to clip this in place. So that's all that's clipped there, and then I'm going to grab for the tops, the bikini top, and I'm just going to clip this in place as well. Now what you can do with this on the inside with your lining, you can leave like an area, whether you do it up like some do. In fact, see it on here, she's got it on the bottom there, you see, and they leave that to put pads inside if you want to pad it out, but Paige doesn't like those, so I'm not doing that on Paige. I'm just going to, you know, you can either have it at the side or you can put it at the bottom, but I'm going to just fully encase this into the top because she always takes the pads out, Paige. So I've got the wrong side of the fabric to the wrong side of the fabric, which is that one. So I'm just going to go round now, guys, and I'm just going to overlock everything round the edges. So you can see here, guys, where literally I've just gone round and overlocked everything. So the next job's going to be, I think I'm going to make the straps next. So I'm just going to, 1.5 strips, I need to get them the right sides together. So that's the right side, and then I'm literally just going to clip all the way down ever so often. And I'm going to do that to all 3 straps. Now what I've just decided to do at this point, guys, is to cut the straps to length, so that when I'm back tacking at the end, if I cut it from one long strip, it's going to come undone, but it won't do if I'm going to be back tacking. So I'm just going to measure that out. I'm going to put that a little bit, so where the end is here, I'm going to bring it down a bit so it's inside there, and then bring it to the end there, and then just snip that off. Now this has been turned over and stitched, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tie knots in the end, so I'm just going to cut that a little bit over, like so. And then I'm going to cut 4 of those, but I'm just making sure that they're the same lengths front and back, and they are. So I'm going to cut 4 lengths of this. Right, so that's the straps for the bottom. Right, I'm going to get the bikini top, and then I'm just going to measure. That's a long strap, isn't it? Right, so let me get this. Well, that's actually exact same amount. And then let's just get the top here. So I may have to cut another one because I don't think it's going to be long enough, that. Right, and again, because the knot's there, I'm just going to go allow a little bit more that's going to be in that knot. Now in the top of the bikini top, on both sides, there's thin elastic, but not on the bottom, because on the bottom, that's where your tie goes through. And then on the bikini bottom, you've got elastic going all the way around the legs, the front and the back. So the elastic, I'm going to bring it about 1 inch down from the top, and then stop 1 inch from the bottom, because obviously that's going to be turned over and that's going to be turned over. So I'm going to cut that, and then I'm just going to pin it, and it's just a slight pull on this. It's not a big pull. Right, so I'm going to cut that. I'm going to cut that to 4, and then I've got my 4 for both sides of the bikini tops. Right, so I'm going to clip that, like I said, 1 inch down. And I'm just going to have that, I'm just going to bring it when I stitch it, I'm just going to bring it slightly in, and then it'll be turned over and top stitched down. When you've got a proper bottom like this, on your just where your bum comes there, so this is the bottom crotch area, and you always do your elastic tighter so that's sitting close to your bottom. But on this type of bottom, it's just a smooth elastic line, there's no pull in it. So when I'm doing this, again, I'm going to do the top first, and I'm going to come in an inch again and just slightly put a bit of pull on that, but not a lot. So I'm not stretching it much on that. Right, so there. So let me just get that pinned in place or clipped in place. Let me get this one done at this top. And I'm coming down the legs. So again, coming in an inch. Right, I'm going to start by stitching the straps first. There's the little one. I'm going to do the little one and just show you how I do this. I'm going to do a good back tack at the beginning. And once I get to the back, I'm just going to help by just slightly pulling it through a little bit. And just by pulling it through, when you're doing that, it's not going to snap the cotton. And I'll just show you what I mean, because I'm just going to do this and I'll not pull it through so you can see. I'm just going to do it to that at this point, and then with that, I've pulled it, but you can see there where the stitching has snapped. So by helping it through, you don't get your cotton snapping, it's stretching with the fabric. Right, so let me just get a small pin. Right, so I'm just going to get this pin. I'm going to just put that through the end, and then I'm going to put that through to turn it. And there you've got your strap. So I'm going to do the rest of the straps, but I'm going to do them off camera because you've just seen how I do it with that one. Right, so I'm going to start now just putting the elastic onto both sides of the bust for starters. Always a good back tack at the beginning and the end. Just pulling it this way just so that the elastic is where I want it to sit. So that's just where I want the elastic with the overlocking is, so that that will just be folded over like so. Right, so let me get this done. I'm going to go across the top first. Right, so I'm going to start off on the bikini bottoms first, and I'm going to just fold the end over. I'm going to put the strap and fold that over, and then I'm going to clip that in place. I'm going to come to the opposite side, fold it over again, get that strap in there, and fold over again. Right, at this point I'm just going to work my way across the top of the front and clip this in place. Work my way down the leg. And that's the bottom ready to be stitched. So I'm going to come to the top now. So where I've got the top elastic, so let me just get my straps, because these are my top straps, because I pinned all the straps together so I didn't get mixed up, because they are different sizes. And at the top I'm going to fold that point over, and then I'm going to put the strap in just down, that's about 1 centimetre, and then I'll fold the top from both sides and clip that in place, and then I'm just going to come down and clip down the sides, folding that side over with the elastic. Same with the second, and any overlocking I'm going to fold underneath, so you can see it just makes it tidier. Right, we're ready to stitch these in place. So guys, if you've got a regular machine, and what I mean by regular is it's not an industrial machine that you're going to have some fancy stitches on that machine, you can use your fancy stitches to stitch down here. But on a joke, it's just your plain simple stitching. Any overlocking I'm tucking inside so it's underneath. And I'm always doing a good back tack. So I'm going to do the exact same on the bottom and just go all the way around. Right, so what I'm going to do now then, I am going to go around and do a twin stitch. So it's just a second row of stitching to give me that twin stitch. Right, and I'm going to keep this row of stitching that I've got here. I'm going to make sure that that is this first prong on the foot, that it's running down the centre of that, and then that will keep it even. And then when I get to this top bit, I'm just going to give that a bit of a reinforcing, just to be a bit of extra security for that strap. So that's the first one done, guys, where you can see the twin stitching. Right, so what I'm going to do at this point, guys, is I'm just going to turn over the bottom of the bust, and this is where the it's got a tie that's going to thread through it. So I'm just going to clip this on here. Giving that a really good back tack, because this bit's going to be pulled, you know, when it's, if she wants to tighten it or loosen it with the threading that goes inside it. So just need to make sure that this is going to be secure like the rest of it. Now this doesn't have a twin stitching on this one, but what I'm going to do is I am going to run over it again, and that is just for extra security. In fact, I'm going to do it this way so that I'm stitching on top of where I've done it. Yeah, so I've just gone over that, so it just looks like there's one row of stitching and not two. Right, so what I'm doing now, guys, is I'm just cutting and neatening any ends off on the ties, and then putting a little knot in. In fact, I'll just try and take these out so I could show you what this looked like with those circles in. Right, so this is the strap that's going to go under the bust. Now what I'd do here, if I was having those, put that there. Get this back on a pin. Right, so I'm going to put this on a mannequin so you can actually see how it looks, guys. So you can just see how it can look, guys, if you add some bits to it. One in the centre, up on the top, and where the straps are. But like I said, I'm going to be taking them off because our Paige just wants it, you know, plain and simple. So I hope you can see, guys, how easy it is to remake a bikini that you got. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care for now, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.